Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for 6 things that we learned from Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1 in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. It was an unbelievable day yesterday. I was there at the bridge courtesy of DAMAC, who are Chelsea's property development partner, and it was a pretty remarkable experience, the fact I'm even here in London. It was a pretty last minute thing. They said, Benson, do you fancy flying on a private jet to London? Now the obvious answer to that question in almost every stretch of the imagination is yes. Do you want to go to watch Chelsea Arsenal? Of course I bloody well do. So here we are. We are in a hotel room. There's a lovely little room behind me here. And yesterday we went to the game. It was an unbelievable day. If you watch the preview, you guys will know that I said it was going to be pouring with rain. Well, that is what the Apple forecast told me. And usually you go completely against whatever the Apple forecasts say. Yesterday was absolutely gorgeous. Blue skies, walking up to Stamford Bridge in the morning. It was an absolute delight. I even managed to go for a nice little lunch with the boys, Joey and Josh, the big dog himself, tucking into some lobster. This is what we love from a match day experience. Get some food in with your mates beforehand, and then of course, get to Stamford Bridge. And the game itself, boys, this was a really good Chelsea performance. And look, the key talking point is obviously the Moises Caicedo red card. We're going to delve into that here in the 6 Things We Learned video today. It is a red. I'm not going to sit here and try and give my usual spiel of blaming Anthony Taylor and saying Chelsea are hard done by. But Enzo Maresca was absolutely spot on in his post-match press conference. When asked about the Caicedo red card, he said exactly what I've said. It is a red. It's clearly a foul. And it should be a red card all day long. The problem in the Premier League is the consistency. Why, if we're going to use the VAR, can we not see the similarities between these tackles and get the correct decision each time? Bentancur for Tottenham over Chelsea. Should have been a red, wasn't given. Now Caicedo's is given, and it is a 3-match ban, which is obviously not ideal going into the Christmas period. However, right now, I have got a serious confidence in this Chelsea team. And listen, I was at the bridge yesterday. The atmosphere was absolutely fantastic. It was rocking. And I want to give huge credit to We Are The Shed, who have done an amazing job with all of the new tifos, getting people singing, getting people together in the shed. It's been absolutely fantastic. The Barcelona game, you could hear it through the headphones, watching on TV. Stamford Bridge can sense that we're going somewhere. Stamford Bridge has got a feeling again like the team is seriously progressing. And the way that we played for, what, an hour yesterday against Arsenal, who, in my opinion, I've said it leading up to this game, I think Arsenal are the best team in world football right now in terms of what they're doing, the results they're getting, the momentum that they've built. They battered Bayern Munich, who I'd have said were on par with Arsenal in the build-up to that Champions League game. We have gone more than toe-to-toe with this Arsenal team. We've frustrated Mikel Arteta with 11 men. If we'd have had 11 men, we'd have beaten them yesterday. I'm absolutely convinced about this. If that match would have gone on for 90, with Chelsea having the same number of players as Arsenal out there, we would have beaten them. But even with 10 men, we didn't necessarily create a ton of chances. Trevor Chalobah opened the scoring for Chelsea, and typically, I missed it. There was a load of people in the West Stand who went down for a halftime beverage, and guess who I bumped into? If you watch the videos or the live streams from the Belgian Beer Cafe in Dubai, I bumped into Mario. I actually had no idea that he was even gonna be here. So I watched the goal in the concourse with Mario, and I luckily got this brilliant clip sent to me from a good friend of mine, Hamoud, here on this trip with DAMAC. So thank you for sending me this clip, bro. But Trevor Chalobah gives Chelsea the lead. 1-0 up, Stamford Bridge absolutely erupts. And I feel as though we didn't really expect this. The moment that Kaisedo gets sent off, I'm thinking this is going to be a very long afternoon. Are we going to be able to cope with the press from Arsenal, the pressure that they put you under with 10 men? But there was one man specifically yesterday that was like, you know what? I'm going to get this little chip on my shoulder right now, and I don't care if my midfield partner is taken away from me, because I'm going to run this show all by myself. And that man is box number 1 in this 6 Things We Learned video, Reese James. Chelsea's captain was absolutely superb yesterday. There's been a lot of very good Reese James performances over the course of the last year, where he has looked fitter than he has done for years. I'm not going to say ever, because obviously it's a very different Reese James these days to the one that we used to see bombing up and down from right back. But man, is this guy a serious footballer. Technically, the way that Reese James reads the game of football is incredible. The fact that Chelsea can go with Malo Gusto at right back, put Reese James in that inverted midfield role, he is becoming a top-class midfielder, not just a top-class right back. The man is a brilliant footballer. He's world-class. On his day, I don't think there's very few players in the world that can compete with the passing range, the strength, and the ability to read the game, to know when to progress, to know when to sit back. And what we're seeing in this evolution of Reese James's role here at Chelsea is getting forward. He's quite often one of the furthest forward when it comes to that Chelsea press. I think we need to get a lot more out of Joao Pedro. He started up front yesterday, but Reese was doing everything. Tackles, winning fouls. Every single thing about Reese's performance yesterday was absolutely top-notch and world-class. And look, when it comes to the decision to not sign a goalkeeper in the summer, I was a little bit curious. I wondered if it was the right call. We had the June story of Mike Maignan, and ever since that story basically broke, we have got a different Robert Sanchez. We have got a Robert Sanchez who's like, hang on a minute, I don't want my Chelsea career to be defined by some mistakes in the early stages of it. I want to prove to everybody that I am that guy. And Robert Sanchez right now is that guy. And I want to hold my hands up, right? Because it's taken me a very long time to warm to Sanchez, because there was a lot of errors. There was a lot of moments where I'm like, is this a Chelsea level goalkeeper? But the patience that has been shown by the football club, the patience that's been shown by Enzo Maresca deserves a lot of praise, because the Robert Sanchez that we have now is someone that would absolutely die for his team. He was fantastic. Some massive saves, and it was always going to happen yesterday. Whether it was 11 v 11, Arsenal were always going to get chances. Chelsea's defensive shape, fantastic. We didn't allow Arsenal to get big opportunities, big chances in front of goal. But every time Sanchez needed to get down, he was agile, he got his hands to it, and then the rebounds as well. That one where I think Martin Odegaard is trying to run in on him in the second half, absolutely fantastic. He got hurt in the process. And that's what I say, you want players that will do everything out there to ensure that they're squeezing every little bit going forward, every little bit in the defensive phase too. And Rob Sanchez deserves so much praise, because if it wasn't for those big saves yesterday, the scoreline could have been very different. Well done to Rob. Box number 3, I'm not used to doing this, you know. It's a red for Moises Caicedo for obvious reasons. The geezer gets himself sent off. Makes the match very difficult for Chelsea. And look, there's no if, buts or maybes. It's a red card all day long. It's late. It's a dangerous tackle. Kaisedo deserved to get sent off. Before that, he was great. Chelsea absolutely bossing it in the midfield, not giving Arsenal any chances. But look, this is a big game, and I'm disappointed in Kaisedo here. And as much as I praise him every week, obviously, in my opinion, he's the best DM in world football. Won't have done too much good for that narrative against Declan Rice yesterday, because Declan Rice, I thought, had a decent game for Arsenal as well. But look, there's no doubt about it, right? Kaisedo will always go in for those tackles. Sometimes it will go wrong. And on this occasion, at the biggest stage of them all, it did. But luckily for Moises Caicedo, he's got Enzo Fernandez also, who I gave a green box yesterday. I thought he was everywhere. The passion on show as well yesterday. Enzo Fernandez, when he went in for those tackles with Noni Madueke, he's giving it a bit of this. Chelsea seem to have got that spark back. We've got that fire in our bellies again. And I love to see this, right? And that is why Stamford Bridge was absolutely rocking. Stamford Bridge is always up for the big games. We know that. But when we see this kind of energy from our players out there, you've got Reese James, who is the captain, Enzo Fernandez, who's the vice captain, the second captain, whatever you want to call it. When you've got those players busting a lung, getting all over the pitch, smothering Arsenal, ensuring that they can't string passes together, yesterday's performance was fantastic. And I think the word that I would use above all else is pride. And in the build up to this game, I was saying how right now we have got a very likeable squad. I absolutely love the squad that we've got right now. Everybody's fighting for one another. We're seeing Enzo Maresca rotate things. We've also not seen Cole Palmer, who didn't come on yesterday, which I actually think was the right decision as well. Because to be quite honest, if Palmer would have come on, I don't think Chelsea would have had the same defensive setup with 10 men to be able to deal with Arsenal and handle them the way that we did. So Enzo Fernandez obviously had a big role to play in this yesterday too. When Kaisedo gets sent off, it means that Enzo does have to do a lot more defensive work, and he was there and he was aggressive with it. And I think the one thing that we've seen this season with Chelsea when we've had these red cards is that we kind of collectively lose our heads, as opposed to just losing a man. You're able to play with 10 men. It's possible. There's game plans. Maresca's found that. And I think to do that against Arsenal for the majority of the match, we deserve a lot of credit for this. Trevor Chalobah is box number 5. I absolutely love this bloke. It is a wonderful header, a goal once again made in Cobham. Reese James crossing it in. Trevor Chalobah gets on the end of it. That was huge. What a moment for him. Absolutely deserved. He's had a good run in the side this season. And defensively, Chelsea have sorted our problems out. We have looked like a different team over the course of the last few weeks. We're not conceding lots of goals. We're not conceding stupid goals. And as much as like the goal that we did concede, Mikel Merino's header, we probably could have done better defensively, but overall, right, the fact that we've done this with 10 men, I think Chelsea deserve a lot of praise. We've got everybody on side again at Stamford Bridge, and people are starting to believe again. And box number 6, I'm giving it to the Premier League trophy. Because I'm telling you, even though we didn't beat Arsenal, the gap is still 6 away from them. Could have been 3 if we'd have beaten them. Maybe we should have beaten them yesterday. It was unfortunate with that red card. I'm taking this draw based on the circumstances every day of the week. This Arsenal team have been great this season. There's no doubt about it. They're a level above where they were last year, and they are, without doubt, in my opinion, the favourites to win it. But listen, in order to be in the conversation means you're in it. Now, I don't think Arsenal are infallible. We saw Sunderland get a draw against them. Chelsea were the better team yesterday. They were by far the better side, in my opinion, with 11 and with 10. We could have maybe deserved more. I think that would have been a fair argument, right? We are in this. We have got some games coming up now. Leeds away on Wednesday is a banana skin fixture. We know the history of this fixture. It's going to mean a lot to Leeds United as well. So we've got to go there without our best player, Moises Caicedo, but right now I believe in us. I believe in Santos to come in. I believe that you can go and put Reese James in that role because he did it yesterday. No Kaisedo, no problem. Reese James showed up with a world-class midfielder's performance. So we've got solutions. There are options. Go out there now and beat the teams we should be beating. Find a way. We're not always going to have this electrifying Stamford Bridge atmosphere that was on show yesterday, on show against Barcelona. We're going to go into hostile environments. We've got to dig deep. We've got to find ways to do it. And I tell you what, Chelsea are in this, you know. I have got so much faith after this week. It was an amazing week. The win at Burnley, the demolition of Barcelona, and then collectively as a team yesterday, so much pride. I thought Chelsea were excellent. But anyway, huge thank you once again to DAMAC for getting me back to London. We're into December now. I'm flying back to Dubai tomorrow. Loads of content's going to be recorded, going out on Shootout, going out here on GBFC, and then I'm coming back here for Christmas. But to be able to fly on a PJ to go and watch Chelsea, this is a pretty mental life moment, to be quite honest, as much as we didn't get the win. I just want to say, first of all, again, thank you to DAMAC, but secondly, a huge thank you to all of you. Because if you didn't watch these videos, I know obviously I have to make them, but if you didn't watch them, I wouldn't get these kind of mad experiences. So thank you very much as well for watching these videos, commenting on them, liking them, and just all of the love that over the last 6 years, you guys have shown me. I absolutely love doing this. It is an honour to be able to talk about Chelsea Football Club every day. and post it to the internet for you lot to enjoy. But anyway, thank you guys again. See you all later. Come on, you Blues.